Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to the game according to me. We are now on Wednesdays, in case you didn't know. And we will be sitting up here talking about the week 14 of NCAA football and week 13 of the National Football League. But before we get into that, let's quickly recap what we had on Survivor, NXT TakeOver, War Games. Because we also talk about wrestling here a lot of time. There were some pretty good matches. You can guys go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP20, and you can check out my my reaction to NXT TakeOver War Games. But it's quickly said on there, I thought it was one of the best shows. I thought it was back to being a takeover type show where there's a lot of great matches on the card. The women started off. The women's War Games match started off, and I said this, and I think a lot of people agree with me. Even though this was a 4-star match, 4 stars for the effort, I really do think that it was, this was not what this should have been, right? There shouldn't have been a lot of plunder and a lot of weapons, ladders, brought in the ring, and everything like that. This shouldn't have happened. This was, there was a way to do War Games, and this wasn't the way. And they definitely, I think the WWE really needs to think about how they do their matches. Now, and matches on the main roster, matches on NXT. And so I think there's some ways to do it, and there are some ways to not do it. And I think, even though I gave it 4 stars, there was not, the ways to do it. And I gave the men's one finale 4.5 stars. There's better ways of doing these matches, and they're doing all of the plunder and everything like that. So, yeah, but I gave it 4 stars. I thought that was really good. Ciampa and Thatcher, I thought was good. Strap match was pretty good as well. The 3-way 3-triple threat match for North American title, thought was really nice. Surprise, Austin Theory came out and now is working with Johnny Gargano. He was one of the things, and he even had a little side, little thing making fun of Vince McMahon or using the Vince McMahon line. When he turned out to be the higher power, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. He kind of said, "It was me, Austin. Yeah, it was me all along." So I thought that was really, really good. There's a different emphasis, so that you put emphasis on his name. Like that. And like I said, the men's one was pretty good, but again, I thought too many weapons, too much plunder. And like I said in my review, I can understand why they think they need to do that, because they can't use the blood, or they can't use blood to make it like this, or they can't do anything like that. But I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a way to do it. I think even still, I think there's even a way to go ahead and maybe even just use one weapon or something like that. Maybe use just one steel chair, something like that, just bring in a bunch of them, or bring in one table, whatever. But it was not good. Well, it was good, but I think it was too much. That's the word. The word used for it is too much. Yeah, but again, it's still a good effort from the NXT TakeOver guys, and yeah. So we have one more. We've got one more pay-per-view, TLC, coming up, and once again I talked about the weapons, and here we are. We got a now weapons match. So, yeah. Now, and, there's gonna be tables and ladders and chairs in that one. So, but we'll go ahead and we'll see what's going on with that. So now to the week of college football, and this past week was, again, we had some cancellation, and we're always going. It seems like we're always going to have cancellations. We already have a cancellation this week that is the biggest cancellation of the season, obviously. And how is that going to affect the future of the college football playoff and college football in general? But last week we had some, cancellations, but all of the main teams still played, and Notre Dame clinched the shot in the ACC championship title game. They beat Syracuse. So did Clemson. Clemson beat Virginia Tech, and that set them up for a showdown 2 weeks from now. Clemson versus Notre Dame. They canceled the Wake Forest game because they thought it wouldn't make any sense for Notre Dame to play Wake Forest, and I think they tried to get everybody to play. I think everybody has played 11 games or will play 11 games. So they just canceled that Wake Forest game because they thought it didn't make sense. At least that was their reason. I think maybe they didn't cancel. They canceled the Wake Forest game, to be honest, because they didn't want they want that Notre Dame Clemson thing, because it almost seems as if right now both are locked for the playoff. And if Clemson beats Notre Dame can probably still get in, unless it's a tremendous blowout, and I don't see that happening. Even with Trevor Lawrence coming back, I think this Notre Dame defense is good enough to be able to stop anything that Clemson puts out there, and slow down anything Clemson puts out there. And I think Notre Dame's offense also as well is good enough to hang with Clemson. This week Notre Dame put up, even though it was a little bit of a slow start, Notre Dame put up 45 against Syracuse. Clemson scored 45 against Virginia Tech. So, I mean, I think this is something that they can, do. I've been asking for this all year. As a big Notre Dame fan, I've been asking for Notre Dame to step up their game and hang with the big boys, and that's exactly what they did. So good on them. Good on them this year. I think they can be able to hang with anybody else in the top 8 of the college football playoff rankings. Speaking of those other top 8, we had Alabama obviously just put a whip on LSU 55-17. LSU just, I don't know whether it's COVID or something else, but they just was not happening this year. Ohio State beat Michigan State 52-12. That being said, I talked about those cancellations. It's the game. It's Ohio State. It's Michigan. Ohio State only played 5 games. They're 5-0. Only played 5 games, and there was some, and Big Ten made a statement early in the year. They made a couple statements. First statement they made by saying that they were not going to play. Now I mentioned about this in some earlier podcasts. The Big Ten, they thought that they had the cachet like the NBA, and they thought that if they said that they were going to cancel the football season, they thought that all the other conferences in college football would fall in line. Some did. The Pac-12 did, and some other ones did. But the other 4 power conferences said no. Other 3, I should have said, in another conference said no. We're gonna play football. ACC said nope. We're gonna play football. SEC said we're gonna play football. The Big 12 said they were gonna play football. And a couple of the non-power 5 said we were going to play football as well. And then they started playing football, and they started seeing the games, and they said, oh, shoot, we made a mistake. So then they, both Pac-12 and Big Ten, try to make a comeback, and it's on everybody. Ohio State and Nebraska, they were trying to say, they were trying to tell them, let's play. And or at the very least, if you're going to cancel the season, let us play. Let us make the decision to play if we want to play, and we can go and find another conference, or we can go and play play other places. we can be independent for a year or something like that. But so and this is what has happened. Now Ohio State is a 5-0 team, the fourth team in the college football playoff. Having to have the Big Ten change what they said they were going to do so that they can get into the championship game of the Big Ten title game, and yeah, so I really do think you can't let Ohio State in there. With Ohio State playing half the games everybody else will. Everybody else will probably play 11 or 12 games, in who makes the Final Four. Notre Dame, Clemson, Bama, it's like that. They will play 11 or 12 games. Ohio State will play 6. You can't have them in the college football playoff. I don't care how good they look on paper. You can't have them in the college football playoff playing half the games the other teams have. You just can't. And you've got some good other people, good other teams in there. You've got Florida, who will probably play Alabama. You got Texas, who beat Florida. The one loss Florida has came from Texas A&M. Iowa State is good. Iowa State jumped Cincinnati, who was 8, who was undefeated. They jumped Cincinnati, and they are now in the 7th spot. So yeah, you have all these good teams, and you're teams that are probably way more deserving than Ohio State, because but you're gonna take Ohio State after playing 6 games. To me, I don't care how I don't care how they look over the eye test. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't, and you can't do it. You just can't. So as we look at week 15, normally, not normally, because we actually wouldn't even be, to be honest with you, we probably wouldn't even be having games this weekend in a normal season. Actually, this would probably be the weekend that we would talk about the Heisman. The Army-Navy game would be, today, and we probably talking about the Heisman either this week or next week, and also talking about bowl games getting ready to start soon as well. Probably bowl games starting sometime next week, after Saturday. But here we are, and we have we do it. The Army-Navy game does play this week, I believe, right? Yeah, the Army-Navy game does play this week. But we have some games. Alabama, Arkansas, Coastal Carolina, who beat BYU. They're top 13. They're playing Troy, Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, Virginia, Utah, Colorado, Illinois, Northwestern, Texas, Kansas, Baylor, and Oklahoma State, LSU and Florida, UNC and Miami, Florida. That should be a really good one. That's probably the best game of the week, because UNC at 17 and Miami, Florida at 10. That's probably the best game of the evening. The USC UCLA game, San Diego State, BYU, Purdue, Indiana, all games happening this weekend. Again, Ohio State, Michigan, not happening. The game is not happening because of Michigan's COVID-19 problems. And that looks like a big deal when it comes to college football and what happens. And once again, I'll make my opinion very clear. I do not think Ohio State should make the Final Four, or only playing 6 games, 5 or 6 games. They should not make the Final Four. Last night, week 13 was in the books. The Cowboys lost to the Baltimore Ravens 34-17. And let's also check back on what else happened this week. The Browns beat the Titans 41-35. Although I think in reality, this game wasn't even close. The Browns jumped out to like a 34-38, 34 halftime lead, something like that against the Titans. Big day for Baker Mayfield. 4 touchdowns in the first half. He was incredible. The Saints held on to beat the Falcons. Taysom Hill is proving that he can play the game from the quarterback position and not just be an all-out player. Really fun to see. The Lions destroyed my Bears. They didn't destroy them, but came back down 10 with like 4 minutes left. Scored 2 touchdowns, beat them 34-30. The Dolphins beat the Bengals 19-7. Vikings came back, from a deficit to beat the Jaguars in overtime, 27-24. Colts beat the Texans 26-20. The Raiders had to be a last-second heave, 31-28, beating the Jets. The Jets in the last play called a cover 0 blitz, allowing the deep pass to Henry Ruggs from David Carr to happen. Greg Williams, defense coordinator of the Jets, has been fired because of that. So interesting. The Giants were the upset of the season, going into Seattle and beating them 17-12. The Giants are on a roll. So are the Washington football team. They played the Steelers on Monday night and beat them 23-17. Incredible display of a team from a Ron Rivera team. Nobody is surprised at that. Washington and the Giants fighting out to see who is going to be the team in the NFC East making the playoffs. Rams beat the Cardinals 38-28. Great day for the people in Los Angeles. I can't say people in St. Louis, the people in Los Angeles. The Chargers, they're just completely blown out by the Patriots. This could be Anthony Lynn's last season as coach of the Chargers. For the first time, Justin Herbert didn't have a good game as well. Patriots 45-0 over the Chargers. The Packers beat the Eagles 30-16. Jalen Hurts came in, replaced Carson Wentz, gave the Eagles a little bit of a scoop, but a long touchdown run from Aaron Jones put the Packers up by 14 and out of place for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts will start this week to try to continue that spark, Doug Peterson said. Eagles we'll check out who the Eagles will play in shortly. Chiefs, Broncos 22-16. Again, Chiefs keep it going. Now that Steelers lost, Chiefs and Steelers are now both 11-1. I don't think they even play each other the rest of the season. So we're going to figure out what happens with them. And then on Monday, the other second Monday Night Football game, we had the Bills and the 49ers, and we had Josh Allen just showing out, just going 32 of 40 for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was incredible. The Bills beat the 49ers, continuing their path to a season where they will be the AFC East champions. So that will be interesting to look at. So all good things as we look forward ahead to week 14. Tomorrow night, as we just had a game last night, we have a game tomorrow night. Patriots at the Rams. The Rams should be on their block, even though the Patriots are not giving up. And like I said, what they just did to the Chargers, which, by the way, is very interesting. The Patriots played their Chargers in Los Angeles, so I'm guessing they just stayed out in Los Angeles, because tomorrow night's game is still in Los Angeles, and both the Chargers and Rams play in the same facility. So I'm just sure this is just a 2-week Los Angeles vacation for everybody in New England. Hopefully they are staying COVID safe, and we'll be able to play that game tomorrow night. But the Rams, they need to. I think the Rams have a better shot at making the playoffs than the Patriots. So the Rams need to keep it continue. Jared Goff, no turnovers. Let's play good football, and let's do this thing here, right? Titans and the Jaguars. Titans need to get back on track. They need to beat the Jaguars, get back on track with them. Vikings and Buccaneers, that's going to be a very interesting game. I think, for the Buccaneers, they're trying to, both Buccaneers and Vikings are trying to get in the playoffs. Buccaneers coming off a bye. We'll see how their offense looks coming off a bye. The Vikings, if they want to stay right now, I think they're tied with the Cardinals for that, that 7th spot. So if they want to sneak in, because I don't think they're going to catch the Vikings, the Packers, excuse me. The Vikings are going to have to try and catch the Cardinals. The Cardinals are playing the Giants, and obviously we just had the Giants beat the beat the Seahawks. So this isn't going to be an easy game for the Cardinals. The Cardinals can lose to the Giants. So if the Vikings wants to, jump up there, they're going to have to beat the Buccaneers. The same thing for the Cardinals. If you're going to want to make the playoffs, you're going to have to beat the Giants. The Giants don't need to beat you. You got to beat the Giants. Because the Giants are in the NFC East, and and I think they have a game left against Washington, and in the things. Let's take a look real quick. They have a game against the Browns, game against the Ravens. The last game of the season is against the Cowboys. So actually, they don't have any more games left. So actually, this is you can probably say a must win for the Giants as well. They have to win here as well. They have to keep up with the Redskins. I apologize, not the Redskins. The Washington football team. They're playing the 49ers this week, and I think it's kind of over for the 49ers at this point. I think they're there's too many injuries, too many COVID related stuff. This is just a bad year. I know that there has been plenty of times in the past 15 or so years where the Super Bowl loser does not make the playoffs the next year. But I think this year is a whole different spectacle we're talking about here with COVID and everything like that, and then all of the injuries. That's the reason why 49ers are not making the playoffs this year. Or otherwise, I think if there was no COVID and they had even half the less injuries as they have had, I think they would be right in the mix for that for the playoff spots. I think they are that good of a team. So, Washington football team needs to step up, go out to San Francisco or Arizona, where they'll be playing, and beat the 49ers. Elsewhere, Deshaun Watson is going to make the Bears and Bears fans' lives live in hell. The Texans come to Chicago. Cowboys will go to the Bengals. The Jets will go to the Seahawks. Seahawks will just destroy them. They need to. Colts and Raiders will be very interesting. I think Colts need to continue their upwards, to try to, stay in the lead for the AFC South, while the Raiders trying to make it. They're not going to catch the Chiefs, but they want to make the playoffs as well. So both teams are fighting for playoff spots here. So they need to keep their thing going. Falcons at the Chargers, battle for draft picks. Packers and the Lions. Packers again maintaining their thing, but it should be a tough game. I think the Lions are still on a high after losing their coach, so they have a little bit more to give. The Saints and the Eagles. Again, we heard Jalen Hurts will start for the Eagles. The Saints. I don't know. I haven't heard about Drew Brees and anything like that. He could come back off, but I don't think he will. I think they're going to continue with Taysom Hill for right now, and he really should. It should be. Really, Taysom Hill should probably play the rest of the year for the most part. Again, let's take a quick look at what the Saints have. They have the Chiefs game next week, week 15. Week 16 they have the Vikings, and week 17 they have the Panthers. So, but this is what I would say. I would say that you check out Drew Brees. Check out Drew Brees. This week he should not play this week. This week you take some Hill. You should easily beat the Eagles. In week 15, you do some things you check out and you see what's going on with Drew Brees. And if Drew Brees can play, maybe you play him, against the. Maybe you play him against the Chiefs. See if you can beat them. And then you play against the Vikings, another good team. And then you sit Drew Brees and let Taysom Hill take on the Panthers. But yeah, I definitely think that the Eagles here should be something mysterious. Sunday Night Football, the Steelers and the Bills. Again, another short week for Pittsburgh. I feel so bad for them. I think they're just going, with everything that's happened with them, they're just going to be Just they need that one thing. They need that bye so that they can get some goddamn rest. I mean, they really need to rest. And the Bills ain't gonna give them. The Bills are a physical team. Josh Allen's playing great right now, and that's gonna be a great Sunday night football game to watch. Although where I'm at right now in North Carolina, the people are taking away NBC from us, so I may not be able to see that game, which will suck. And in the Monday Night Football game, Ravens versus Browns. Again, Baker Mayfield's playing very well. On a roll, the Ravens had a good night last night against the Cowboys. As of late, they haven't played their best ball. But again, after last night, maybe that will get them back on the road. That should be a very good game as well. In this podcast, basketball is getting ready to start. We got preseason games happening this Friday, so check your local listings, check TV Guide. Some will be on ESPN, some will be locally as well. Can't believe basketball is starting. Unbelievable, right? Can't believe this is. we just finished basketball, and here we are. We're starting that back up as we go with the preseason, and I think the regular season is supposed to start on December 22nd. Still, I'm not decided whether or not I want to do a preview show or not. What I just may do is the week before, the week of, depending on when December 22nd. Let's see. Let me think here. Today is the 9th. 9th. So next week will be the 16th. The week of that will be the 23rd. So maybe. Yeah, so maybe what I would do is on the 23rd edition of this podcast, 2 weeks from now, I will give you not only the recap of the college football and that would be the recap of championship Saturday. We'll also figure out who was in the Final Four that Sunday. In the past, I have done a live stream when it happens. I won't do that this Sunday. I won't do that Sunday because I'll be trying. There's many reasons, but mainly it's because of what's going on with the live streams to my YouTube channel. So I wouldn't be doing that. But yeah. So I will probably recap the Final Five, the Final Four, and the bowl games and things like that. That week we will talk about of course NFL, and then I think we probably will I'll give you my thoughts, predictions on the NBA 2020-2021 season. So yeah, I'll do that in 2 weeks, so make sure you are going to be here for that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you go to patron.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. If you like what you hear on this podcast, if you like what you see when you watch my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP20. If you like what you see when I play on video games on my Twitch, last night, Kate Bishop, I played the Kate Bishop program on the Marvel's Avengers game, twitch.tv/AJTRIP20. If you like what you see from all three of those platforms, or like what you hear from on this platform, go to patreon.com/AJTRIP and become a patron. There's 3 tiers. Certain tiers you get certain things, but no matter what tier you at, once I hit a certain amount of patrons, I'm going to open it up so that you can then tell me and or vote on what you would like to see me talk about on my YouTube channel, or do a YouTube video on what video game would you like to see me play on my Twitch channel, or what would you like to hear me talk about here on this podcast. So yes, at patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron, or you can just go right to anchor.fm/Andre Triplet Show, and you can go there and become directly and support me directly. 99 cents, $4.99, $9.99. You don't get any special, things, anything like that. It's just the fact that you like what you hear so much from me that you want to, and you would like to, support me so that I can continue to do this. And you can be on the ground floor as I end up to maybe having a very popular, a very important podcast in the sports world. All right. So yes. So anchor.fm/Andre's Triplet Show. You go there, and then you support financially or so, something like that, and it's 99 cents, $4.99, $9.99. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I am out.